everybody, this is Angela Savage, the daughter of IndyCar driver Swede Savage. It's time to watch stories from motorsports. My buddy, Doug Kenny, loves to share the journey of people in racing, and he is an amazing dude. Drivers, owners, fans, and team members, watch the SFM podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny from Stories from Motorsports. I'd like to thank my buddy Josh Mabe for the YouTube work he did years ago that inspired me to create this platform. I'd like to thank my buddy Victor Sifton for convincing me to get back into it after my hiatus from 2017 to 2019. I have a very special treat for you all today with an amazing journey from an amazing racing figure. Drivers, start your engines.
It's like I always thought that I was like stuck between eras because I was in my early years, I raced against guys that were from the 60s and 70s. Mm-hmm. And, of course I raced against them, towards the ends of their careers in the 80s, but, whether that's the AJ Foyts, the Mario Andretti's, the Unsers, with Brian Redmonds, the Derek Bells, etc. You can make it's obviously a long list. But I always felt like I related more to the generation that preceded me than to my contemporaries or the ones that would have come, shortly after me. Guys that are a little bit younger than me. I always felt like I sort of was more of the earlier generation, and I just felt more a part of that. I guess that was philosophically, but that it sort of makes sense because when I first started watching racing, that was what I obviously grew up watching.
Yeah.
But anyway, point being, it's just it's an interesting thing, but it was really cool being able to be, sort of like the bridge between generations, because like let's face it, when I first started in Indy cars, mm-hmm. I was one of the first guys that was a road racer. Mm-hmm. Because it was the system. You came up through sprint cars. You were a great USAC driver. You were a midget driver. You were doing all this, and you got to race the Indy car. But as CART came along in the late 70s and road courses were becoming more prevalent, mm-hmm. There's a very interesting little NASCAR parallel with what we talked about with Ron and a bunch of the other guys. Along come a bunch of us that are really good road course racers, and then all of a sudden, like when I first started, all of a sudden you have Teo Fabi, Michael Andretti, Al Unser Jr. Because like it was almost
the closing of the guard, as they call it.
Well, it was a changing of the guard, but really what changed it hugely and probably sped up the thing was when, let's face it, when Al Sr. and Mario made decisions where their sons were going to go train and race, and Al Jr. ends up in Super V and then Can-Am, Michael ends up in Atlantic, and then BAM Indy cars. Mm-hmm. Their parents chose the path, or their fathers, Al and Mario, chose the path for them to be road racers, mm-hmm. to become IndyCar drivers.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal because that opened the door for the masses.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please hit like and subscribe if you did so, and please continue supporting our amazing guest. And everybody, we'll see you next time on SFM.
Hi, this is Ted Warner speaking. While the checkered flag is waved for this program, stay tuned for next week for the next episode of SFM. Thanks to Doug Kenny for what he does for motorsports.